TR 111466, Air 11766, take 1.
My name is Victoria Winters. Instead of being a home, Collinwood has turned into a chamber of horrors for me. At least I expected to be safe inside my locked room. But at Collinwood, locks don't seem to fulfill the function for which they were designed. Last night, someone definitely entered my room. Only my screams frightened away the intruder.
Good morning, Vicki. Did you sleep well?
No, I didn't, Mrs. Stoddard.
Aren't you feeling well?
Well, let me ask you a question. If you'd gone to bed and locked your door, then was awakened in the middle of the night to find your door being opened, would you have slept well after that?
I think you'd better explain.
Someone tried to get into my room last night.
What time was this?
I don't know, but Roger could tell you. He heard me scream.
Roger heard you?
Yes. Apparently no one else did. He came rushing into my room almost immediately. Don't look at me like that, Mrs. Stoddard. I didn't imagine it or dream the whole thing up the way Roger suggests. There was a person trying to get into my room, and that person had a key to my room.
Well, I'm sorry that such a thing happened, Vicki, and I can understand your being upset, but it won't happen again.
How do you know it won't?
Well, I'll have Matthew put an additional lock on your door, and you'll have the only key.
I would feel a lot safer.
Have you any idea what anyone might want in your room?
No, I don't. I have nothing worth stealing.
Then you don't think it was just a prowler?
Why would a prowler pick the one room in the house where there isn't anything of value?
Well, perhaps he didn't know the house well.
Or perhaps he knew it very well.
David, he didn't know anything about it. I know he isn't always the most trustworthy person, but this time I believe him.
Whoever it was trying to get into my room wasn't a prowler or a burglar. He was after me.
What about a prowler?
Oh, Matt.
When?
Thank you for coming right over. Miss Winters thinks somebody tried to force their way into her room last night.
It doesn't seem likely, Miss Stoddard. House is locked up good. I saw to it before I went to my cottage.
Couldn't a window have been left unlocked?
Not unless it was unlocked after I made my rounds.
Do you always check the house every night?
It's part of my job.
Well, then it must have been someone who was already in the house.
That doesn't include many people.
Well, I don't mean anyone who lives here. Now, someone could have gotten in during the day or earlier in the evening and hidden in any of a dozen rooms.
Well, that's possible, but it still doesn't explain why. Matthew, take a look at Miss Winters' door and see what the best kind of lock would be to put on it.
Safest thing be just an inside bolt. I'll see to it today. Is there anything else, Miss Stoddard?
Check with me before going into town. Mrs. Johnson might want to go with you and do some marketing.
Yes, ma'am.
Vicki, do you know whether Roger checked the door to the closed-off part of the house last night?
No, I don't. But that could explain where he disappeared to.
Well, I think I'll go look and see. Excuse me.
Hello, is this the Collinsport Inn? Would you give me Burke Devlin's room, please? Oh, I forgot. He said he was going to Bangor today. No, I'll call back later. Hello, Mr. Evans. This is Vicki Winters. Can I talk to Maggie?
She's not here.
Oh, well, she wanted me to call her. I said that I would anyway. I guess I'll try the coffee shop.
Well, Vicki, actually, Maggie called you because I asked her to. I was the one that wanted to talk to you.
You want to talk to me?
Yes, it could be very important.
What's it about?
Well, I just may have some information for you about that, the portrait of Betty Hanscom.
Can you tell me about it now?
Vicky, telephones have extensions. I would much rather see you alone. Could you meet me this evening?
All right, wherever you say.
Well, the Blue Whale. Well, no one will think it odd because, well, I'm there almost any night anyway.
Well, do you think you can really tell me something about myself?
Well, I can't guarantee anything, but, well, try to make it if you can. Eh?
All right, it'll be a little bit after dark.
I'll be waiting.
Oh, Mr. Evans, if you're in touch with Maggie,
Yeah.
would you tell her something? Would you tell her that I found out something more about what we were talking about yesterday?
Something more?
Yes.
What?
Just tell her that. She'll understand. Oh, I have to go now.
Well, the door to the closed-off section of the house is locked, and I had the only key, so your mysterious visitor couldn't escape that way.
Well, I guess I'll just have to put it out of my mind. Oh, by the way, when you were talking to David, you didn't tell him that you didn't give him any idea of what had happened.
Of course not. I was most discreet.
That's good. If he had that on his mind, he might as well forget about his lessons for today. As it is, we've got to make up for one already. If you'll excuse me.
Of course. Oh, hello. This is Mrs. Stoddard. Is Mr. Collins there? I see. Well, if he should come in or call in, tell him to call me right away. It's quite urgent. Thank you. Did you get my message?
I came home as early as I could.
I asked you to call immediately.
Well, this is as immediate as I could make it, Liz. I was already on my way home and I got the message. What in the world was so urgent about it?
Why didn't you speak to me before leaving the house this morning?
Why, Liz, I didn't think you cared that much.
Don't be facetious, Roger. You know perfectly well what I'm talking about. Vicky made it quite clear.
Oh, you mean her nocturnal visitation?
This is no time for joking.
Did you take it seriously?
Well, certainly. Didn't you?
I honestly don't know what to believe about Vicky. Let's examine the record. First, she insists that she was held prisoner in a locked room by a small 9-year-old boy. Then she claims to have seen the ghost of Bill Malloy, of all people. And now she says a supernatural figure walks through a locked door of hers and is presumably about to attack her. Well, she's either got a very overactive imagination or she's got hold of some information that's dangerous for her to have.
What sort of information?
Well, that, of course, you should ask Vicky and not me.
What kind of information could it possibly be?
The only dangerous information I can think of would be some knowledge about Bill Malloy's death.
That was ruled an accident.
Burke Devlin didn't think so.
I don't care what Burke thinks.
Now, from my talks with Vicky, I'm positive that she also thinks that Malloy was murdered.
Where in the world would she get that idea?
The same way she found out about these sort of things. She sees these ghosts and these people walking in, prowling at night. Her vivid imagination. But she also thinks she has a vital clue as to who murdered him.
Beg pardon, Miss Stoddard. I fixed the bolt on Miss Winter's door. Is there anything else?
I don't think so, Matthew. When you looked at the door, were there any signs of it having been forced?
No, not any signs.
That'll be all, Matthew.
Yes, ma'am.
What does Vicky intend to do? To barricade herself in her room forever?
She'd said she'd feel safer with a bolt on the inside of her door.
Perhaps that's what we should all do. You know, Liz, I think I was right all along. Vicky knows too much for her own good in this house. I think for her ultimate safety, she should leave Collinwood. And I'm going to have another talk with her about it.
Well, you can't right now. She's not here.
Oh, where is she off to this time?
She didn't say. Said she had an appointment in town. Cab came and got her, and she drove off.
You don't have any idea who she had this appointment with?
No, I haven't. Why should it concern you?
My dear sister, it only concerns me because I'm worried about the welfare of Miss Winters. I think I'll run into town and see if I can find her.
Why are you so anxious about where she went?
I told you I'm afraid something will happen to her.
Well, wouldn't it be a little less obvious if you waited until she got back and then asked her?
But Liz, what if she doesn't come back? I'll see you later.
It was nice of you to come, Vicky.
Nice of you to ask me.
Would you like a drink?
No, I don't think so, thank you.
Well, you sure you wouldn't want something? A cup of coffee or a ginger ale or something?
All right, a ginger ale.
Bill, I'll have my usual and bring a ginger ale for the young lady. Well, how are things up in Collinwood?
About the same.
Hmm, that's good.
When I say about the same, I mean the same sort of strange things keep happening.
Strange. In what way?
Last night, someone tried to get into my room.
You don't say.
I think it's all part of the same thing. I'm convinced of it.
Well, part of what thing?
Did you give Maggie my message?
No, I haven't seen her since I spoke with you.
She'll be awfully worried.
She's very worried. That's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Well, I thought you wanted to tell me something more about the portrait of Betty Hanscom.
Well, Vicky, you, have every right to get up and walk out of here right now. But please don't. There's, something I've got to talk to you about, and that was the only excuse I could think of.
Then you don't know any more about B. Hanscom.
I'll be honest with you, I never even gave it a thought.
Well, do you remember anything about him?
I never met the gentleman. See, the Collins family and the Evans family hardly travel in the same circle. You see, in any case, what I wanted to find out is that thing that you told Maggie.
Well, I don't want to talk about it. I told her something, and I'm not at all sure that I was right. So I'd rather wait until I know more about it.
She said that you had definite proof that Bill Malloy was killed, that it wasn't an accident at all.
That's what I thought. But I've learned something more since then.
You mean you were wrong?
I don't know, but that's all I want to say.
Well, don't you think you've said a little too much to suddenly stop?
I just want to explain it to Maggie.
Well, you explain it to me, and then I'll tell Maggie later, tonight.
I don't want to go through it all again. Please tell Maggie what I told you to forget about our conversation.
I'm afraid it's a little too late for that.
Why? Has she told someone?
Well, only if you consider me someone. Now, she said that you not only had proof that Bill Malloy was killed, but there was a definite connection between his death and Burke Devlin's accident 10 years ago.
That's what I thought.
Listen to me, Miss Winters. Since Bill Malloy died, there's been all sorts of whispers floating around Collinsport. All sorts of unspoken accusations. Don't you realize that I was under suspicion myself? Now, if you know anything about it that might bring this issue back again, you've got to tell me what it is.
I'm sorry, Mr. Evans.
But you can't walk out like that.
I think you should discuss it with Burke Devlin.
Burke? Well, what's he got to do with it? Did you tell him the whole thing?
Not all of it, no.
Please, Vicky, you've got to tell me what you told Burke. I can't go through this whole thing again.
I promised him that I wouldn't say anything until he came back from Bangor.
When'll he be back?
I don't know, but I expect he'll call me.
And then you'll tell him the rest, huh? How I acted just now, huh? Oh, that'll fit in beautifully.
Mr. Evans, the only way to clear this thing up is to bring everything out into the open.
Well, at least I tried. I have Maggie's car. Can I drive you back to Collinwood?
No, thank you, but I think I'd rather walk. Good night.
Good night. Collinwood in. Is Mr. Devlin back from Bangor yet? I see. When do you expect him? Well, didn't he give you any idea at all? No message.
Somebody tried to kill me, I swear it, and it wasn't an accident this time.
Now, calm down.
I can't be calm. I don't feel calm. I feel like screaming.
Well, then scream if it'll help. I suppose you try to tell me what happened.
I was walking back from town, and this car was coming toward me. I didn't notice it at first, but then it was coming quite fast, and the headlights blinded me. Well, there was plenty of room for it to pass, but suddenly I realized it was trying to run me down.
Where was this?
Half a mile from here. I ran the rest of the way. Mrs. Stoddard, who's doing this to me? Who wants to kill me?
I can't think that anyone would want to kill you. I can't believe that. Did you see what kind of car it was?
I couldn't because of the headlights.
Do you think I should call the sheriff?
What good would it do? I can't tell him anything. I can't tell anyone anything.
Vicky, dear, if you really think you're in danger, you shouldn't be walking home alone at this time of night. It's too bad Roger didn't see you in town. He could have driven you home.
He isn't here?
Oh, he drove off more than an hour ago.
Where did he go?
Well, I don't know. He said he was going to look for you.
Maybe he found me.
I'm going to get something to quiet you down.
Hello. Is Mr. Devlin back yet? Yes, please connect me with his room. Hello, Burke. This is Vicky. We have to do something now. When I was coming back from town tonight, a car tried to run me down. No, I didn't. Mrs. Stoddard is here. No, Roger left about an hour ago. Well, of course in his car. No, I couldn't see it because the headlights almost blinded me. All right. Burke, please hurry.
Here you are, Vicky. Take this. I take them frequently. They can't possibly hurt you. But Vicky, you're not afraid of me, are you?
I don't want to take anything.
I think you better. Now, come on upstairs and lie down. I'm sure you'll sleep soundly.
A loud sport jacket touches off a noisy marital spat in tonight's adventure on Bewitched at 9:30, 8:30 Central Time in color on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production. Dark Shadows